Oh, well, hello everyone. Welcome back. So today what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to make a very tasty but simple um, jambalaya. And if you are from the South, you're from Louisiana and you watch this and you think, oh my goodness, that's not the recipe that do not be coming at me with all of this. This is not the recipe for jambalaya that I grew up with. I'm telling you, I promise you, this tastes really good. It's very simple, and you can tweak it to throw in different food items that you really prefer, and you can take out some of the items that I'm adding if you really don't like them. Anyway, the recipe's really good. Every time I cook it, people are like, oh my gosh, this tastes so good. How do you make this? So here we go. So first of all, I'm going to go through everything you're going to need according to my recipe. And then I will pause for a second and do a lot of prep work. But from start to finish, this probably takes about an hour because once you get everything sort of simmering, I usually let it simmer for a half hour to an hour because that's where the magic really happens. I'll give you the big heads up here. This actually tastes better the second day after it's all been like sitting in the refrigerator and all of the flavors are mixing together. So here's what you're going to need, okay? I'm going to start with chicken breast. That's what I use because I'm trying to make this a healthier option. You can use any chicken. You can use chicken breast. You can use chicken thighs. I don't care. But about a pound of chicken. And again, what's going to happen is I'm going to be cutting this into small bite-sized pieces. So just keep that in mind for the chicken. Okay? Andouille sausage. So you may be thinking, where do I get andouille sausage? Well, I actually got this at Whole Foods. Some markets carry this. Ralph's, some of the Ralph's locally here in California carry that. You may have to go to a specialty market, but many grocery stores carry Cajun spiced sausage, andouille sausage. That ideally is what you want to go with this dish, but if you can only get smoked sausage, that would be okay. I am not including shrimp in my recipe here. Please feel free. By all means, if you really, really like shrimp, and shrimp is very commonly found in jambalaya, add it. I wouldn't add maybe a half a pound. That may even be too much, a quarter of a pound of shrimp. But that's up to you. Okay, so we did chicken, we did andouille sausage, and before I forget, I'm gonna get this out of my freezer. Don't mind me. Okay. You're gonna need a bell pepper. You're gonna need an onion. I'm going to use 3, again, you can adjust this to taste. I'm probably gonna use 3 cloves of garlic for mine. So you can use some prepackaged like this, or you can get the full garlic, bulb. But I would say probably, like I said, I'm going to use 3 cloves. I'm going to be using, and this is where some of the controversy comes in, okay? I'm going to be using, some people do not like tomatoes at all in their jambalaya. They're like, oh, that's not. Okay. To make it the right consistency for what I want, I'm going to use 1 can of crushed tomatoes, okay? I'm also going to do something else that's controversial, and I'm going to put okra in my jambalaya. If you've never had okra, it might not be something you want to try, but if you're from the South, you probably grew up eating this. It's very popular, and it's very good in this dish. So you can choose to add a package of, so I get the frozen okra. You can choose to add that or not add that. It's up to you. Here's what's most important for the flavor, and this is actually the best seasoning I've found. So this is McCormick's. This is their gourmet line. You can get this at any grocery store. You can get this online on Amazon if you can't find it in your grocery store, but it's just simple. Cajun seasoning. This is the one. This is the one you want. Okay. And last but not least, you need rice. So to be healthy, this is another controversy. I don't mix my rice with the meat and veggie mixture. I keep the rice separate, which is typically what people do with gumbo. But I do that so that I can control how much rice I'm going to be eating, because I don't, it's just for health reasons. If you don't care about that, then, you could cook your rice and mix it in with the veggie and meat mixture. But I keep the rice completely separate. And when I serve at the end, I have the rice in my bowl and I put the veggie meat jambalaya mixture on top of it. If you really want to be super healthy, you could also use cauliflower rice. It's completely up to you. You can individualize this recipe to make it work for you. So that's everything you're going to need for the jambalaya. And by the way, I've already cooked on the side, because I love to serve this with my jambalaya, black-eyed peas. So I just got a frozen package of black-eyed peas, boiled it. I boil it for about, I don't know, once it starts boiling, I turn it to low, half hour, 45 minutes. And I add garlic and olive oil and salt. And the secret for my black-eyed peas. A little bit of that in my black-eyed peas. I'll tell you what, bacon makes everything better. So, okay, next time I see you, I will have prepped all the food and things will be moving. But that's everything you're going to need. Okay. Okay, we're at the part where it's about to get fun. So, what I've done, I've diced up into bite-sized pieces the andouille sausage. By the way, this package that I had two sausages in it, and I only used one of them. I put the other in my freezer to save for later. So anyway, I cut that into small bite-sized pieces. I diced up the onion, the bell pepper, and I diced 3 cloves of garlic. So just a quick, so you can see maybe what that looks like. Okay. I'm probably going to add just a touch of olive oil. I'm going to let that simmer for a bit. You're not going to need much oil because there's going to be fat from the sausage. So that's what's going to be happening next. And while that sautés, for probably, you want things to sort of really soften and maybe start to turn a little bit brown. I don't know, 5-7 minutes, somewhere there. While that's happening, I'm going to be cutting my chicken strips, my chicken breast strips, into bite-sized pieces. So next time I see you, this will be good and sauteed, and I'll be ready to add in the chicken. Okay, forgot the best part. Zydeco music, hello. I always like to listen to Zydeco music when I'm cooking Louisiana Cajun food. Okay, I'm gonna show you what's happening in this pot. You see that, okay. The part that you can't experience is the smell. Oh, it smells so good. So my chicken is ready to go in. So I'm gonna now add the chicken to this mix and let the chicken cook until it's done. So, well, almost done anyway. Let that cook for 5-6 minutes. Ooh, smells good up in here. So here we are. It's been simmering with the chicken. I did like, I don't know, 5-7 minutes. It was more like 7. I did add a little bit of olive oil, and I did add a teaspoon of butter. You don't have to add the butter if you don't want, but it does make it taste better. Okay, so now I'm gonna add, for the Cajun seasoning, you need anywhere from 3 to 4 tablespoons. So I'm gonna do 3.5. And then I'm gonna add the crushed tomatoes. And then I'm gonna add the okra on top of that. And you're gonna wanna stir to make sure everything is covered with the Cajun seasoning and everything's mixed in. And then you're gonna turn it down to low. By the way, I didn't say this earlier, but I've been cooking for the most part like a medium high. So once you've added the 3 to 4, whichever you choose, it's more spicy if you put 4 tablespoons. And this isn't a super spicy, it's more flavorful than hot. But it has a little kick. So I'm gonna put 3.5 tablespoons of the Cajun seasoning add the tomatoes, add the okra, stir, turn it down to low, and put the lid on, and then it's gonna just simmer for about a half hour. You probably wanna stir. I stir every, 8 to 10 minutes just so that nothing's sticking and everything's getting mixed really well, okay? So the next time I see you guys, well, actually, I'm gonna add everything in and show you what that looks like before we let it simmer. Okay, so here's what it's gonna look like right now. So now I've mixed in the okra, the Cajun seasoning, and the crushed tomatoes. Leave it on medium temperature until it starts to bubble a little bit, because the okra, of course, is frozen and it's gonna decrease the temperature, and you wanna make sure it's warm enough for you to be ready to simmer. Once it's sort of bubbling a little bit, that's when you wanna turn it down to low, put the lid on, stir every 8 to 10 minutes for the next half hour while everything cooks. So I'll see you when this is ready. So while that's cooking, I'll just say a couple of things. I went ahead and cooked the rice on the side. I always use jasmine rice, but I love jasmine rice. You can use whatever kind of white rice. You could use brown rice. I would not recommend it. And shrimp. So if you wanted to add shrimp, I probably would have added the shrimp uncooked when I added the chicken. That's when I would have added the shrimp if I had added it. But, especially when I'm making this for a big group of people, lots of people can't, they don't like or they can't have shellfish. So I just leave the shrimp out. And of course, like I said at the beginning, if you're not a big fan of okra, don't add it. I do think, and you could do diced tomatoes. You could leave tomatoes out. I feel like the crushed tomatoes are pretty necessary because it gives it some consistency. But this, of course, remember, this is not supposed to be super soupy. This is not, this isn't like gumbo, right? This is supposed to be more of a hearty mixture that typically the rice is mixed in. Again, for health purposes, I've kept the rice separate. If I wasn't going to keep the rice separate, once it's finished simmering for, for the half hour, I would mix the rice in at that point. But I would cook the rice separately. It's completely up to you. I mean, really, it's just a matter of all these flavors coming together that makes this so good. And, I think for me, the key to the flavor is the Cajun seasoning and that andouille sausage. So if you can find andouille sausage, I get that. Okay, I'll see you when it's done. Okay, so we're all done over here. This has been simmering for about a half hour. And this is what it should look like. And, you can let it simmer for longer. I mean, the longer you let it cook, the better. As long as it's on low. Those flavors are just going to continue to mix together. And you want to make sure that the okra, if you added the okra, that the okra is soft, right? Because it was frozen. You want to make sure that it's soft and cooked through. But as you can see, here's my rice. So, you would just put the rice on your plate or in your bowl first and put the jambalaya on top of it. And you can't really see very well, but there in the back are my black-eyed peas. I need to rewarm those up. That's it. The only other recommendations I have for jambalaya is typically I serve it with garlic bread, garlic toast. But you can't go wrong with that. And sweet tea. So there you go. Hopefully you try the recipe out and you like it. Let me know.